We need relationship with God, presence with God. It's one thing to live for God. It's another thing totally to live with God. A lot of people live for God, but they don't live with God. He says, I will walk in you and dwell in you, and I'll be your God, and you'll be my people. You'll hear my voice, and you'll follow me. Great peace have they who love thy law. Thou wilt keep him in shalom, shalom, whose mind is stayed on thee. So we don't want to just live with God or for God. We want to live with God. Rufus Mosley, an old-time author, he termed this phrase, living contact. He said, you want to maintain to the best of that you can, 24-hour living contact with God. Living contact with God. Don't you think that's the way Jesus ministered? He said, I don't do anything. I don't say anything unless the Father tells me. He was in constant communication with God. And you notice when he had to make a major decision, he'd disappear and go out and pray all night. And then he'd come back and choose the 12. Living contact with God. I heard two preachers talking. They were doing a teaching session, and I forget what the issue was, but the one preacher said, and for some reason, in this case, Jesus didn't do this. And I can't remember what it was. And the other one said to him, well, you know why he didn't do it? He goes, no. He said, because the Father didn't tell him to. As simple as that. The Father didn't. If the Father had told him to, he would have. But the Father didn't tell him to. Are you working for God or working with God? See, we can work for God, especially if you have a benefits theology, or we can work with God if we have a relationship presence theology. I want the presence of God. I want to know him. Remember, Jesus said in his high priestly prayer, John 17:3, he said, this is life, Zoe, the God kind of life, absolute life. He said, this is life. He said, you want to know what Zoe is? The life of God, absolute life. Life as God has it. He said, this is life, that they might know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom thou hast sent. That knowledge again, that they might know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom thou hast sent. This is life. The life of the kingdom, the present life of grace. Abbott Smith lexicon defines life. The life of the kingdom of God, the present life of grace. So we need to have time with God to get epignosis, where grace and peace will be multiplied to us. We need time with God. If we're not careful, we'll just be Marthas, running around, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this. And we're not Marys, where we just sit at his feet. Well, I loved how the Passion portrayed, if you saw, not the Passion, the Chosen, how it portrayed that. You guys saw that, didn't you? Wasn't that awesome? How they portrayed that scene with Martha and Mary. They really did a great job on it. And Martha's just running around and doing all her stuff. And her heart was right. She wanted to please the master. She wanted to do the right thing. But they show Mary there, and she's just like engrossed in what Jesus was saying. Just like, oh, it was just, you could just see it all. She's just like, I don't care. I got to hear what the master says. And the way Jesus in The Chosen dealt with that in this upcoming season. It was in the theaters, but it's going to be released here for free any day now, I think. So we've got to guard against working for rather working with, living for rather than living with, and there are so many distractions. Oh, our lives are full of distractions. The internet, social media, the news, people, events, activities, and that's one of the things the devil uses to steal the word. The cares of the world, the deceitfulness of riches, the lust of other things, all these distractions. But if we're going to have grace and peace multiplied to us, how is it going to come? It's going to come in the intimate relationship with God. Not head knowledge, but intimacy, relationship, revelation that comes out of that intimacy, out of that relationship. Do we have the message on that? Okay. Could you put up Matthew 11:28 in the message? Matthew 11:28 in the message. And then we'll wrap this up. I want to look at this here. But this is, I think this speaks so powerfully to where so many people are today with the busyness of life and the distractions. And even you can get on a religious treadmill and just be do instead of just, I just need to spend time with Him. I need to wake up in the morning and worship Him. I need to talk to Him. Look at this. Are you tired? Worn out? Burnt out on religion? I can hear some of you inside saying yes. Are you tired? Are you burnt out on religion? Are you worn out? Notice Jesus gives the remedy. Come to me. Come to me. Get away with me, and you will recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. We don't know how to rest. Jesus needs to show us how to take a real rest. Next verse. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Oh, I love that. What are we doing here, Lord? I remember I heard a pastor talking. He said they went in, there's this person that was basically dying in the hospital. And in their church, and a group of people from the church went to pray for her. And he said they were all around the room, and all of a sudden he noticed his wife move away from everybody else. And he heard her say, "What are we doing here, Lord? What are we doing here, Lord? What's the plan?" Instead of the mind of reason, Proverbs 3 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean to your own understanding. So many times our own understanding, well, this is what we'll do. We'll all do this and we'll all do that. She got off this, Lord, what are we doing here? What's the plan? She heard, she obeyed, and the person was healed.